Stream. So, hey everyone, this is Mesha with As Long as You're Breathing, and this is an Every Life is a Story event. And we have Kayisha Thompson with us. And I tell you what, y'all, I'm kind of in like awe here because I'm in front of a cake executive officer, and that is the first time for me. So, before we get to her story, we are going to say that if you're watching us on video, please, the recording, please go ahead and put your comments over here and ask questions because we will check those after the fact and answer you then. But if you're watching us live on YouTube now, please go ahead and chat with us there too, and get a hold of us because we definitely want to talk to you. But in the meantime, we're just going to go ahead and I'm going to tell you all that I'm one of those people that I believe in eat what you want to eat. And so I love chocolate, and this woman, she makes cakes. And so we were a match made in heaven. So, Keisha, tell us all about your business and what you do. And just start with your story, girl, wherever you want to. This is your story.
Yes. Hi, everyone. My name is Kayisha, Cake Executive Officer of Cakery. We're a five-star artisan cake catering company in New York City. We do custom cakes, cakesicles, cookies, and last year I pivoted my business due to COVID, like so many other small businesses, and created a cookie mix line, which started off as a classic cookie mix, which is salty sea of chocolate, which is a chocolate chip cookie with dark chocolate and milk chocolate chips. Lemon breeze, which is a white chocolate lemon cookie,
Wow.
and then my vanilla sugar bliss cookie, which is great for like holidays, Valentine's Day, if you want to cut out different cookie shapes and decorate it. And then I thought, well, how can I make myself stand out with my cookie mix line like I do with my cupcakes? With my cupcakes, it's exotic flavors like white chocolate hibiscus, wicked dark chocolate. And then I thought, well, why not make an international cookie mix line? My parents are from Jamaica and Cuba, and how my story started was when I was around 9 or 10 years old. My dad loves the New York Knicks. And so he
I'd
had gone,
never guessed you had any New York to you there. No, would have
yes,
never guessed that.
he loves New York Knicks. And, he used to wear the jerseys. I remember growing up seeing him wearing the jerseys. They had tickets to a game. So they went to the game, and the expectation was my older siblings would come home and watch me. That did not happen. They missed curfew. So out of boredom, I climbed up into the kitchen cabinet, took down a Betty Crocker cake mix, and baked a cake. And they came home and they were like, "Where's your siblings?" I'm like, "I have no idea." They're like, "Who made this?" I said, "I did." They said, "How?" I said, "Well, you sent me to school. I know how to read. So I read the box and turned on
There
the
you
oven
go. There you
and
go,
baked."
girl.
And since that day, they allowed me in the kitchen. Like everyone was surprised. They didn't realize I have been that observant watching everyone cook and bake.
Mhm.
Um, and so as I got older, I went to college, studied psychology, and after I got my bachelor degree, I literally got the biting bug, like the baking bug. I was just baking, pulling recipes off the internet, baking pineapple upside down cakes, chocolate molten lava cakes. And my nieces and nephew were my taste testers, and they would tell me, "Oh, this isn't too soft, or this is too dry, or this needs more vanilla." And then people started saying, "Oh, can we place orders?" I said, "Well, I don't bake cakes from scratch. I'm learning, but I can do a box mix." And they're like, "Yeah." So I started getting like one or two orders here or there. And then I moved to Snellville, Georgia, and I walked into a Joann's fabric store, and I saw this huge sign, cake decorating classes. I was like, "Well, I am baking. Why not learn how to decorate cakes?" And
Mhm.
so I took all of their courses there. And the instructor turned to me and goes, "You're a very good fast learner. Would you like to be an instructor and teach all the kids classes part time?" And I'm like, "Oh, okay, sure." She's like, "It doesn't pay a lot of money, but we get a lot of free perks and free supplies." I'm like, "Okay, great. I can practice more." And so I did that for a couple years, and I started posting pictures on Facebook. And another entrepreneur saw me She sells clothes and jewelry, started her own shoe line. She said, Kayisha, do you know you can make a business out of this? And I'm like, I can. She's like, yeah, let me show you how. She connected me to a graphic designer, and I got someone to help me build a website. And I started like posting more on Facebook. I started a Facebook page, and people would reach out to me and say, hey, we want to come to Joanne's and learn how to do cakes and cupcakes and cake pops. Can we sign up for your classes? And I'm like, oh wow, I just booked clients through Facebook. Okay. Didn't realize how powerful Facebook was back then, and
Powerful.
YouTube. I was like, oh wow, dropped out of that, but it's all good. And so my business started to grow, and then eventually I moved back to New York, and I noticed that my business started growing more. Like people were like, oh my god, you came back to New York, let me place an order, let me do this. And somebody was watching me, which I had no idea. She goes, hey, we have an upcoming pitch competition, we want you to come and pitch your business. And I'm like, okay, great. And they had pitch sessions, and they helped me. And that's how I won my first pitch competition. It was about over 1,000 women, and they only picked 100 women for their program.
Wow.
Yeah. And so I got 6 months free of consultation to grow my business. And over the years, I evolved. And from that program, I actually changed my name to Delore Cakery.
Wow.
And
So
so, yes.
so you started out, you studied psychology and you got a degree in
Yes.
psychology,
Yes.
but you loved baking. And so
Yes.
the whole Betty Crocker thing as a kid, I loved because I did the kind of the same thing. My parents would be gone and I'd go in the kitchen and I would just start cooking things and they'd come home and they'd be like,
What's going
seriously?
on?
And I'd be like, yeah. And I still do that. Like yesterday was kind of stressful and I'm like, okay, I'm done with this. And I just went and made homemade chicken noodle soup because I'm like, I can't do this anymore. I'm going to bed.
Right.
And so because it's therapeutic. So I can see psychology and cooking, it goes together.
It
But
does.
so you started cooking,
Yes.
started baking then, and you got out of school and you still kept baking, and
I still kept
your
making.
family were tasting it,
Yes.
and then friends were like, so will you cook this and will you make this? And so you started doing that. You moved to Georgia, which
Right.
I don't hear any Georgia, so I'll make up for that.
Right.
You stay in New York, I'll make
Right.
up for that part because I hear the New York and
Not the Georgia, right.
I definitely got the Southern going for us, so we're bouncing it out here. So
I
you got
love it.
down there, you went to the Joanne Fabrics, and from there it just grew and grew. But talk about inspiring other people
Yes.
because you ended up with a business from just what you love, and
Yes.
you just it evolved so organically. And I want
It
people to
did.
really hear that because that is a lot of what this is about, and why I
Right.
do this show is because I want people to hear that if you will just open up and be true to yourself and say,
Right.
this is what really lights me up. I may have studied this and my family may have expected that, or maybe I was supposed to do that. Maybe I
Right.
spent a ton of money getting that degree, but
Yes.
that's not what lights me up, or it's not what's
Right.
flowing in my life even. It's just not flowing for me.
Right.
But I walked in and my intuition, it's like the universe was hitting me on top of the head, or God was hitting me on top of the head and saying, will you look up here? You love to cook, you love to bake, and look what I'm showing you, girl. So,
Yes.
and your family's telling you this, and your friends are asking you to cook for them and
Right.
bake for them. And so you had all this synchronicity and all this serendipity and all of this
Yes.
happening. And you went with it. You were open
Yes.
to it and you flowed with it. And then you had people, and when that happened, all these people were attracted into your life saying, let us help you. Let us
Yes.
show you this. And people will do that.
Yes.
People are genuinely in their hearts good and they want to help. They
Right.
like to show you the ropes. They like to show you,
Right.
come over here. Let me show you this.
Absolutely, Maisha. It's funny you say that. So even after I got my bachelor's degree, I went on to get my master's degree in human
Mhm.
services. And my sister said to me, "Don't get your master's degrees, go to culinary school." And my mom said, "If you go to culinary school, I won't support you." So the fair stepped in and I went for the master's degree. And even as I went for the master's degree and postmaster degree in counseling, I was working in foster care, social services, providing therapeutic services to at risk children and youth. But while I was doing that, I was still running my baking business because it's something I loved, and it's relaxing and calming and soothing for me after, listening to all these stories and helping these kids and families. But like you said, the universe kept knocking, like, hello. And I noticed a pattern where I was in a lot of toxic work environments where it's like the more I help the kids, um, the more difficult and challenging leadership above me would become. Like, you're doing too much for these kids, you're helping too much. And that was confusing to me because I went to school for a program where we're supposed to be supporting, caring, and giving to those who, have all these mental health disparities or any challenges in the family. So last year when COVID hit, after I recuperated from COVID, I literally heard the universe say, "Do not go back to that job. If you go back to that job, you will be sorry." And I was like, "Whoa!" I'm like, "Did I really just hear that?" And it was like, not, and I'm like, "No, no, 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 no." I'm like, "Okay, so universe, if I listen to you and I do that and I release this job, what's next?" And I went onto Amazon and started looking at self help books and came across this author. And I got her book, and all these doors and opportunities just started opening left to right. It was like I opened the floodgates to heaven last year. And I was like, wow, okay, manifestation and mindset totally works, but it's something that you have to keep working on every day. And so, um, you know, last year, after I decided, okay, I'm going to do this and step away and everything and focus on my business, I won a grant from Joanne's fabric store. So it
Wow.
was like 360. I'm like, oh my gosh, like 8 years ago, I walked into a Joanne's and here I am getting a $5,000 grant from Joanne's fabric store.
Definitely
And
a connection there.
right,
You're definitely energetically connected to Joanne's Fabrics.
right. And I was like, oh my gosh. And I told people, I said, you guys don't understand. I started there. This is where all the magic started at Joanne. So it's like a 360 for me. And then I won an Essence pitch competition, Essence magazine. And I was so shocked because there was so many people applying to the program. And I was more focused on doing the modules, not the actual grant. And my mindset was, oh my gosh, there's all these competitors. There's no way I'm going to, win it. Completely forgetting that, Kayisha, you've done this before. You've won a pitch competition before. And
Hello.
so I got the email on a Wednesday, hey, you're chosen, but you guys are pitching on Friday live. And I'm like, oh wow. And I'm like, okay, this is what you've been preparing for, Kayisha. All those pitch practices, here it is. And then I won another grant that year. So the floodgates have been opening. I'm like so grateful for the opportunities. This year I won another grant unexpectedly through Fiverr, which is a huge platform where they used to start out freelancing services $5. Of course, that has changed.
Yes.
And so um, you know, they picked up on my energy, and Colette, the manager, said to me, Kayisha, I want you to understand something. You beat out thousands of applicants. We only chose 5 business owners. You beat out thousands of applicants. I want you to process that. And I won coaching as well. What's tied into it is coaching with one of the biggest financial firms in New York City, 1063 Ventures. So I'm like really excited and proud about what I've accomplished so far and where I'm going.
Absolutely. And you talk about coming 360. I've
Yeah.
listened to your promotional video that which I have it up on the page and I've
Yeah.
been playing it. But you talk about you want kids to be involved in things that are full of flavor and rich
Yeah.
in skill building enrich and skill building.
Yes.
So you haven't abandoned at all what you
No.
went to college for. You've built it into your business. And now
Yes.
you don't have those people above you telling you you're pouring too much into these kids. No,
Right.
girl, you're running a business from your heart space,
Right.
the way we're supposed to live. And on top of that, you're cooking your little heart out, you're baking your little heart
Yes.
out, you're decorating your little heart out, and you're helping kids. You're doing it all. And that is
Right.
why the universe is like, okay, here's some more, here's some more, here's
Right.
some more. And
Yes.
it's just an amazing success story that all comes from, and you were talking about manifesting earlier. You were talking
Right.
about that. When we are in vibrational flow with who we are supposed to be, manifesting is not, people are yo-yo manifesting. This law of attraction thing is like, oh, I want a new car, so I got to pull myself up into vibration to get that car. I want a job, I'll pull myself up into that vibrational frequency to get a job. That's yo-yo manifesting.
Yeah.
No, we live in the vibrational frequency we're supposed to be in, then the things that
Right.
are supposed to be in our lives will be there. And we're like, well, I think I'm in that frequency and I don't have this or I don't have that. Well, then that thing, that usually that's a person, that
Right.
person is not in vibrational frequency with you. So
Right.
until that is in place, we don't want something in our lives that's not in vibrational frequency with us.
Right.
You manifested the degrees,
Right.
so you were in vibrational frequency for that. But
Right.
those jobs were not in vibrational frequency with you because the management of those were not in vibrational frequency with you. So the universe gave you all of the benefit of those jobs in a whole other way.
Yes.
And that's what they do for us. And so if it's not the relationship we want, then they give us what we need from other relationships. They bring those things into us in another way. And so
True.
manifesting doesn't necessarily look like, we have to be willing to let the universe say this or better. And we don't put the universe in a box and say, I want it to look exactly this way. I want the relationship to be exactly this. I want it to, we don't do that. We
No.
say, this is the desire of my heart. I want to help children. And
Right.
then we do what we understand them to be telling us to do. And we do that to the best of our ability, but we leave it open to them, which you did. And then you
Right.
follow their guidance the best you knew. And look at you now.
Right.
You now.
100%. One of the things that I love doing, of course, is giving back. So when I won the Joanne's grant, um I noticed that someone on my friends list, an acquaintance, worked at a school. And part of my pitch of Joanne's was I wanted to donate some supplies to a school and offer classes. I would charge for the classes, but the supplies would be completely free. I'd ship it to each kid's home.
Yeah.
And she worked at a charter school in the Bronx, Democracy Prep. And I said, hey, I would like to do X, Y, and Z. This is what I want to do. Are you guys interested? And the principal responded back immediately, yes, you can.
Yes.
Absolutely. So I had a cohort earlier this year in the spring where I shipped all the cake decorating and baking supplies to the students. I only paid for the time. They only paid for the time. And I taught the kids baking and cooking for a week virtually.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is amazing. And you were
Yeah.
able to do that because of all the things that have been brought into your world.
Right. Yes.
That is so amazing.
Yes. Yeah.
Wow.
There's definitely a connection there with me and kids. At one point, I was trying to figure out, okay, what is the big picture that I'm supposed to be going for? And then I stepped back. I said, no, just wait and do what you're supposed to do. And the universe will put everything into place for you. But I know with that, there's still, some planning we have to do on our ends, inspired action we have to take.
Inspired action. Yes. When we're inspired to do something, don't question, don't second guess, go with it.
Right.
And then be open to all the magic that the universe then brings in that fulfills our potential.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Absolutely.
Right. We get attached to outcomes. We think,
Right.
oh, the outcome is supposed to be this, and we get attached to that. And
I do.
I do too. I do too. It's like, wait, but I know it's supposed to be this. And they're like,
Right.
well, and that would have been a beautiful outcome and it would have worked great.
Right.
But there's so many other energies attached to it. And that person's energy or these people's energies didn't go along with it. And so we got something better for you. And
Right.
so just keep doing and being who you're supposed to be. And
Right.
that's going to come in. And you're like, okay, but I was really attached to that outcome. And they're like, so unattached to it, and we'll give you better. We'll give you better.
Better.
Well, that's what we have to learn to do, is release those outcomes. And say,
It's
okay,
true.
I release that.
How?
And I'll keep taking the inspired action each day that you give me.
Right.
And that's how we, and then operate in the high vibrational energy we're supposed to be in, and
Right.
what we're supposed to have in our lives will come, and
Right.
our lives will be full and joyful, and then we will stay in alignment with who we are.
Right.
We don't have to do this yo-yo manifesting.
Right.
When law of attraction stuff was work, when you talked about manifesting and all that, that was work, because it was
Yes.
constantly setting a goal, manifesting it, manifesting it. That was, getting the vibrational frequency of what does that feel like? Feel it, bring no, just be who you're supposed to be.
Be.
Stay in
Right.
alignment with who you're supposed to be, and be open to all the magic that the universe will bring
In.
in fulfilling your potential, because that's what they want to do. That's what
Right.
they want to do. And they want us to, but we have to leave room for them to do that. When we're attached to an outcome, and believe me, girl,
Yes.
especially when it's a something that we really have our hearts set on, or when we
Right.
just know, especially when they've shown us, when we see
Mhm.
how beautiful something could be, or when we know how good it is, like helping children or whatever,
Right.
like, I'm supposed to help children. I see how beautiful this is, and
Right.
so we think we're doing it, and it's not working. We're like, why is this not working?
Working. Right.
Yeah.
Right. Not being, too specific. Although I learned from the program there is specific and non-specific manifesto, but you still have to leave room for
Room.
the universe. And with myself, I always want to know how. I'm very analytical,
Oh,
a
I'm
big
too.
calculator.
How? I want to know
So
how.
right. I'm like, how? But how's it? And I'm like, all right, Keisha, this is what you want. Just let it go. Do
I know.
what you're supposed to do every day. Don't worry about that. It'll come in.
Well, and what I find is, because I channel so many answers for other people, and I channel so much for other people, and I get shown so many other things to teach, and it's like having the test answers for everyone else, but I don't get the test answers for me, and it's like, seriously,
That's how I feel.
yeah, it's like, seriously. But that's because as long as I do what I'm supposed to do and stay in vibrational alignment, then
Right.
those things come, and I don't need the test answers. But
Right.
again, that's being attached to outcome.
Right.
And so we just can't do that, because it really is. So what we have to understand is, so many other energies are involved. And if
Right.
we're not in alignment, we can't be attached to an outcome. And
Right.
so you studied, certainly you're meant to help children. You studied to do that.
Right.
But the whole time you were also being shown, hey, you love cooking, you love
Right.
baking, and you can help so many other people. And it's going to be so much more low stress.
Right. Yes.
Yeah, because we have multiple
Right.
skills. I mean, there are tons of things I can do too, but I love doing this. And
Right.
so it's like, so stop doing all that other stuff. Do what
Right.
you love doing. Be in the world you love being in, and just let it
Right.
flow. And we're gonna give you what's supposed to be yours, and you're gonna be happy. And
Yeah.
so, and that's what they did for you, and that's a beautiful story. So keep going,
Thank
keep going.
you. Thank you. And so, my parents are from Jamaica, West Indies, and
Mhm.
Cuba. And I thought, with the cookie mix line, I said, well, why not make an international cookie mix line? And so I have three flavors. One is called Ivy Cocoa, which is a dark chocolate cookie mix, but it has a blend of cocoa powder from Jamaica and Italy. And
Wow.
then Jam Rock is the same thing as Ivy Cocoa, but it has walnuts and a pinch of cayenne pepper. So it's cookie.
Cayenne pepper. Now explain how you came up with that. I got to know what inspired you to do that.
So what happened was I was working on the Jam Rock cookie, and I had all my taste testers. They're testing the cookies. And one client said, I don't like spice, but I would love to try this Kayisha without the spice. And I thought, okay, let's try that without the spice. And I think her husband had a nut allergy. And I said, okay, let's take out the spice and the nuts and see how that flavor stands on its own. And she loved it. And I said, oh, well, I can offer one with the nuts and spice and then one without. And so in Jamaica, there's a term that they say when everything's cool or good, we say Ivy. So I said, oh, okay, this cookie is Ivy. It's cool compared to the Jam Rock that has the spice and the hot. And then now I'm working on another flavor called Tropical Sunset.
Oh,
Yes.
that's romantic.
That yes, it tastes, the taste is there, but we're almost there. Um, I'm trying to get that chocolate in bulk because I use a special type of chocolate called Couverture, which is extremely expensive. So I'm trying to see if, if I could get a big discount on a big bulk size. But it's delicious. It's light and buttery, and then it tastes like pineapple.
Oh, I love pineapple.
Yeah.
Girl, how does one become one of your taste testers? Maybe I'm attached to the wrong thing here. Maybe what lights me up is being your taste tester.
I'm always looking for taste testers, especially in different parts of the world, because then I have the opportunity as well to see how shipping goes when I'm
There you go. I'm in
right. Yeah.
Mississippi, and shipping to Mississippi is always an interesting thing to do. So I'm applying.
Right, right. Absolutely. Yeah. It's a really good trade-off. I'm like, I'm getting, the feedback that I need, and at the same time, okay, well, is it better to use FedEx or UPS for Mississippi? Or how does the regular postal, these are all business dynamics of business you have to think about, operational. So yeah.
Wow, you're going to get flooded with people wanting to know how to do this now. Remember, I'm in Mississippi. I'm in. Okay,
You're in. You're in.
I'm in. Okay.
Yes. I can always use extra taste testers.
Oh my goodness, that is amazing. So, but seriously, that is just, you have been given a gift to do this, because this is the kind of stuff that I love to cook, but I don't know that I would come up with those things. That is just not something I would come up with.
Right, right. Understood.
Yeah,
But you have different gifts. Everybody has, I
we all
believe that
do.
everybody has a gift, but I don't think everybody understands or knows how to tap into their gift. And sometimes trauma, which is a part of manifesting, if you don't work through your trauma, you might not be able to release your gifts fully, allowing them to manifest. And that's something I learned as well last year.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Until we work through those things, we
Right.
don't understand we don't understand how to release. We don't, and we ask the universe for things, and the
Right.
universe wants to give them to us, but we have to make space for them. And lots of times we don't want to make space for. One of my great examples is, we'll ask the universe for relationships. I love this one. Send me the love of my life or whatever, and the
Right.
universe will. And then we get them, but then we don't make space for them, and we lose them, and we're like, how did that happen? You know,
Mm.
and it's like, well, apparently they weren't. Oh no, they were, and you got them, but you didn't make space for them. You didn't
Right.
release. And what you do is you raise your vibration, and you change your life so that they come in,
Right.
but then you don't stay in that energy to keep them.
Right.
And then you don't realize, and Dr. Bruce Lipton calls it the honeymoon effect. Well, you have to stay in that vibration. It's not a honeymoon effect at all. When whatever vibration we're in to pull something in, that is a
True.
vibration we have to stay in, and that is a vibration of gratitude. That
Yeah.
is why people talk about gratitude journals. The purpose
Right.
of gratitude journals is not to identify something new to be in gratitude for.
Right.
Do I have gratitude for what I have?
Right.
Because
Yep.
if you're not feeling gratitude for what you have,
Mhm.
then you're not staying in vibrational alignment with it to keep it.
It's true.
To keep it.
Yes, it's true.
That's why relationships don't last. That's why,
Yes.
when you have these nice cars and you're like not grateful for your cars, it's because you got 14 cars and you only need one.
Right.
Yeah, when you got this huge ass house that is beautiful and you're not grateful for the house, it's because you got this big house, but you've also got 40 other things, and you're not even living in the house really that you've got. You're not entertaining in it. You're not
Right.
taking care of it. You're not, because you've moved on and you've got so many things. We put too many things in our lives, and
It's
we
true.
live so big that we're not even grateful for what we have.
Right.
Purpose of gratitude is so we stay in alignment with what we've manifested.
Right.
We don't need to manifest more than we can be grateful for.
Grateful for.
We don't
Right.
need lives bigger than we can live,
Right. It's true.
because then we're not living, we're existing, and then we're just getting more and more and more, and we wonder why
Right.
we're not happy.
Right. And to also be grateful for the challenges, because what I noticed with myself is I'll fall out of alignment as soon as, maybe a trauma from the past comes up, and I'm like, oh, I have to address this. Okay, fine. And that could get you off the path, take you out of alignment. But then you have to circle back and say, okay, why is this coming up? Or why am I learning this? And be grateful that this is coming back and that you're learning and you're working through it. Um, and deal with it so that you can bring yourself back up into alignment, and I can start expressing my gratitude all over again.
And I love the terms you use about circle around and back up, because
Right,
each time that happens, we're not we're not re-healing or relearning. We only heal at the level we're capable of healing at the time. So
right,
when it circles back, then we're capable of healing at a deeper level. And we're
right,
circling up because we're healing at a deeper level. So we're spiraling up each time.
right.
So that's what's happening then. We're
Yeah,
not relearning or rehealing or redoing work. We're
right,
spiraling upward. And it happens faster each time. We learn the lesson faster, we recognize it faster, and we need to be grateful for that, because that is how we release. We recognize,
right.
we're like, wow, I've been here before. I know what this is. I need to feel my feels, feel
Yep.
through it, release that, go up to the next level, and I'm back in
Ooh.
vibration, and I'm pulling it in. And are you there? Where'd you go, girl? Oh, goodness, we lost her. And that's what happens when you're talking about the right stuff. Sometimes the world just doesn't want that out there. Hopefully, we'll get Keisha back. Kayisha back. In the meantime, I'll watch for her to come back. Oftentimes, when two people are vibrating the same and talking about how coming into vibrational alignment and how to manifest correctly and how to do those things, those are not necessarily messages that are popular sometimes. There we go. Maybe she's coming back. She'll sign back in, hopefully. And especially, there's a lot of electronic stuff that will go wrong when people are talking about those truths. And that's probably, possibly, what we're witnessing right now. I hope not, but that is possible, highly possible. I love it when we have guests on, though, that to have lived these lives and have experienced these things and know these things. And I love it when we get together and we talk and our energies are the same, and we can say those things. And Keisha and I had not met before. I was introduced to her, told about her through perhaps one of the authors that she's talking about, having read the book from, and my friend Judith Ann Walls. And I've watched her promotional videos, and we've been chatting back and forth and trying to set this interview up. And Kayisha, her cakes are amazing. If you go on and look, her website is DoloreCakery.com. What she has done is amazing. She has taken her business. She had a psychology degree. Here she is.
That
Girl,
was
you're
weird. Yes.
Yes, I was just explaining that sometimes when two people click so well and they're talking about how to do all of this, that electronics are used to keep us from sharing that with the world. And so we're not going to let that happen. So
That
you
is
go, girl,
true.
tell us more of your story.
So, yeah, so I have the 6 flavors and everything right now. I'm excited because I have a campaign that's going on, and gonna announce it soon. And with that campaign, what I'm doing is, if you join my email list, you enter into a giveaway where, if you're chosen, I will deliver 100 cupcakes to a shelter or foster care agency of your choice in New York City,
Wow.
as well as you'll get cupcakes as well. If you live out of state, I'll ship you 2 cookie mixes, but you still get to choose a shelter or foster care agency in New York City for me to deliver cupcakes to.
Wow. So
Yeah.
giving back to the community as
Yes.
well, which is also a part of what we're to do.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
And
So
then I'm excited because a lot of people have been asking me over the years, can you ship cake jars? Can you ship cakes? And I'm like, cakes can be a little tricky, when you're shipping. But I got some good coaching prior to the coaching services I'm in now. And she goes, this is how you can ship. And so I'm going to be shipping a certain amount of cake jars. I'm going to offer that. It'll ship out December 1st.
Wow,
Yeah.
that is amazing.
Yeah.
So you've come this far, and
Yes.
you've received grants. You've got this coaching that's coming up. So
Yes.
what do you see in your future? Of course, I know it depends on
Right.
what you're shown, but
Right.
what do you see?
It's
What's your desire?
it's funny because my coach said next session I want you to write down what is your desires in the
What
next
is your
5 years.
desire? Absolutely. What is your desire?
And he goes, how much money do you want to make? When I told him, he goes, you're not thinking big enough. And I'm like, wow. And I'm like, okay. He goes, we build $1 billion brands, Keisha. I want you to think about that. And he goes, do you see yourself running this long term? And I thought to myself, in 5 years I would like the company to grow to the point where it's bought out by someone that can take it much further than me. I'm still on the board, but what I would love to do, a couple of things, is there is a school that I would like to support, building out a school for them that has the culinary and baking component for that school in New York City. In New York City, space is very challenging. I did have the opportunity to work as a baking teacher in a high school, but I was only able to do it for 2 months as I have some health issues, and that was manifesting itself. And it's funny, I actually manifested those health issues myself earlier this year with what I had asked for. So I was like, wow, I would really love to support that school. You know, if this coach is telling me we can become $1 billion, $1 billion company, $1 billion brand, I'm like, wow, I could really do a lot. I would love to help that school and give them their own building to function in, and start from middle school up to high school. It's a technical program, so they have tech, cooking, baking, science, all these different things, but they're sharing a building with a couple other schools. And I envision, I'm like, wow, I said, in a couple of years, if they had this money in this building in East Harlem, they could flourish. And I also enjoyed doing the pitching, where I'm carving out my own, carving out my business plan, carving out a pitch deck. I was like, I'd love to help other, small business owners, and be able to help them grow. And I would love to do something where I can do my own international pitch competition, and international and domestic in the United States, where I can help support other small businesses as well.
So you want to
And
continue
traveling.
helping the kids, and you
Yes.
want to pay it forward. And in doing all that, you'd like to see some of the world too.
Yes, yes, definitely travel.
Beautiful. It's a beautiful vision.
Yeah. Italy has been on my I've never been to Italy, but it has been on my heart like for years. Like, my coach said, if you could live anywhere in the world, where would you be? And I said, I think Italy. I don't know why, but I don't know if you ever seen Ocean's 11 with
Yes.
Julia Roberts. Okay, you remember that scene in Italy where they show up and the guy think he won, and Julia Roberts and Clooney is like, no, we did X, Y, and Z and wrapped it up. That beautiful scene there in Italy has always lived in my heart. I don't know why. I'm like, I would love to go there.
Well, you're drawn there for a reason, so you
Yeah.
should definitely explore it at least.
Yeah.
Take inspired action.
Yes. Yes. Exactly.
You're
Exactly.
definitely drawn there for a reason.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So, right now you mentioned rich in skill building, and so do you have programs going on right now for kids with the business you have, or have you been able to get those in place so far?
Not right now. I did one school earlier this year. My goal is to try to do one school, at least one school a year.
School year.
Of course, with DOE, you have to be a vendor. They have to approve you. But because I have the background in social services and I have fingerprinting and all that on file, I kind of get to maneuver through that a little bit easier than most people. And I was working in a school, so I'm trying to figure out, okay, for 2022, what do you want to do? How many schools do you want to help out next year?
Right.
Because I said, Kate, you don't have to physically work for someone else. And I just had this epiphany and conversation with myself literally 2 days ago, Misha, and I said, you know, Keisha, things does not have to be hard. You do not always have to work hard to get what you want. You're in alignment with the universe. Just be, and what you want to do will fall into place.
Right, absolutely. That's yes, yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
So tell us about like your actual business that you have because we're not in New York City. So tell us
Right.
if we walked in, what would it be
Right.
like for us? Give us a little tour.
I'll give you a tour. So I don't have a shop, but I'm in an FDA approved commercial kitchen. It's
Okay.
called Entrepreneur Space. So
Okay.
it's a huge commercial kitchen in Queens, New York, where different entrepreneurs that have packaged goods like myself, we're in there. We're mixing our packaging. Some people do cookies. Some people do salad dressings, and they're making their products in there. They're boxing it and they're shipping out. So I go in there and I do my dry cookie mix, um, and then I package everything, heat seal the bags, and then I have it set up a certain amount of quantity, like for the holiday season, that I have to ship out. So right now, I think for the sea salt chocolate, for the salty chocolate chip, I have about 100 bags, and then I have help that's coming in this month. So we're gonna do all the other flavors, package it, and another goal that I'm hoping to do is World Trade Center started a pop up shop. So guys, keep fingers crossed. Yeah, the kitchen is great because not only do they provide this space, but they also help us with access to grants. They give us financial coaching. They coach us on our packaging, different steps, as well as they have a lot of connections with different pop up shops and retailers throughout New York City, some domestically throughout the United States, and they help us getting to shops or pop up shops.
Wow.
Yeah,
I think there are many people who probably didn't even know that
yeah,
the type of facility you're talking about existed. So
yes,
that would be great for people who want to
yeah.
do similar things. That kind of
There's a
information is.
there's a couple. There's I think one in Brooklyn called Hot Biscuit, or I can send it to you after. So there's one in Brooklyn, one in Queens, two in Manhattan, and a new one that just opened up in Harlem. They all help small entrepreneurs grow. So the goal is to help you grow out of that space into
Wow.
something bigger, either your own shop or co-packing.
Wow. That is amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing. Well, you have such big vision
Yes.
and at the same time understand that you need to live in flow and be your authentic self and let things
Yes.
happen and be open to what the universe wants you to do. And it's just so amazing. Now tell us, you told us some of your exotic flavors, but tell us how do people get some of what you have? What do people need to do? What
Right.
are the basics for? We've talked big now. We've talked
Right.
big. We've talked universe. We've talked all
Right.
of that. What are the practicalities to, girl? You make some great stuff. How does one go about getting some of this stuff to put some more
Right.
pieces on our hips? How does one
Right.
do that?
Well, that's easy for the cookie mixes. It's some of the cookie mixes are live. The rest will go live in about another week. But you
Okay,
can go online to my website, www.delorecakery.com,
got it
and
up.
you can check out and purchase your cookie mixes, and we'll put it together and ship it out directly to your home. The cake jars are shipped on December 1st directly to your homes. Cupcakes is a little bit different. That's just in the state of New York for now. So if you wanted cupcakes or even a custom cake, you would go on the website, and at the top we have a link that says order now, contact us. Order now is to order the cookie mixes and cake jars. Contact is for custom cakes and cupcakes. And you would fill out a form, and it's going to ask for your name, email address, phone number, the flavor you want, the filling you want, what type of occasion. And then I would contact you back and confirm those details. Especially when it comes to certain flavors, I'll ask, well, is there anyone vegan in your party? Is there anyone with a nut allergy in your party? Then you may want to opt for a different flavor. So we're going to have a conversation about what you want. And then once it's solidified, I send you an invoice, I send you a contract, and either it gets delivered, or depending on where you're at, you can pick it up.
Okay. Now explain cake jar for us because I know
Yes.
some people are like, cake in a jar. What does that mean?
Right. So it's a little mason jar. It's a little plastic container actually, and it's a layer of cake, and then so let's say you order my white chocolate hibiscus. So it's the bottom layer is cake. The middle layer has fresh strawberries and a fruit compote, and then it's topped again with cake. And then my white chocolate buttercream is actually what it is. It's buttercream with white chocolate mixed into it, and then a hibiscus syrup. So the hibiscus syrup is what we call in Jamaica sorrel. It's a drink that's made primarily during the holidays, like Thanksgiving and Christmas. So we take the hibiscus flower, we boil it, then we let it cool down, and we add nutmeg, sugar, Jamaican white rum, and allspice, and we sit there and let it soak for a couple days, and
Whoa.
then we strain it. So I use that and make a syrup for that particular cupcake flavor.
Whoa.
Yes.
Girl, I'll tell you what. I'll tell you what. Well, is there anything else to your story that you would like to add for us?
Yes, I want to share, if you when you're doing something that you love passionately, there's going to be a lot of challenges that come in. There were many times where I wanted to walk away and give up my business, where I was tired and I felt like I wasn't getting anywhere. Keep going. Those times where your business is slow, pick up a book, take care of yourself, go get a massage, relax, do something else that brings you joy or that's productive, and build up yourself so that when an opportunity does come along, you're ready. So downtime is actually a little bit of playtime for you.
Right. It's absolutely
Yeah.
imperative that you keep do the self care so that you're ready
Yes.
for the work time.
Yes.
Take care of you. Keep your vibration up. This has been just so wonderful. What you're doing is so inspiring. That you as you said, came full circle, in
Yes.
a few ways,
Yes.
that you wanted to help children, and that's what you're going to do, and that you loved cooking, and cooking is how you've ended up doing it. But at
Right.
the same time, what you actually went and studied, you found a way to take that and incorporate it into something else that you've loved. I mean, the universe has helped you
Yes.
meld a life that together that is a beautiful combination of all the things that you are in a
Yes.
way that I'm sure that you never envisioned that it would happen. And that's
No.
because you've been open to it and you've let them guide you, and so that's a beautiful thing, and that's a beautiful thing for the audience to hear and see. And so thank you for telling us all about that. And people can contact you again at the website www.delorcakery.com. It's DELORCAKERY.com. And I'm just so excited for you. And you have to
Me
come
too.
back and let us know how things are going. Like in the middle of the year next
Absolutely.
year, let us know how growth is going and all of your plans and everything. We want to
Yes.
know. And certainly keep sending us your videos, and we'll keep putting
Yes.
them up so we can let everyone know and keep you up in everyone's mind, keep you in the forefront of everyone's mind, so they can order the cookies from you and
Yes.
the cake jars from you because those
Yes.
just sound amazing, and we can support you in what you're doing.
Thank
But
you.
thank you so much for just sharing your story because it's very inspirational, and the fact that you've manifested all of this, and that you figured out how to do that, and that you're willing to share how you did all that. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. I just want to say one last thing to everyone. Take your vacation time.
Yes,
Doesn't matter if you're an entrepreneur or you work with someone, take your vacation time.
absolutely,
Yes.
absolutely. We need all of that. We need
Yes.
to take the us time. If we don't keep ourselves filled up, if we don't, that's how we stay in vibrational alignment. People think self care is going to get your nails done. Well, it
Right.
can be. It can be if
Right.
that's how you are resting and keeping yourself in vibrational alignment. But self
Right.
care is really, what does it take for you to stay in vibrational alignment? Because that's
100%.
yeah, that's what self care is. What does it take for you to stay in vibrational alignment with who you are? That's
Right.
true self care.
Right.
And so, absolutely, and vacation is certainly a part of it because that's when you get to go and be you and
Yes.
rest and refuel and reconnect with yourself. And so, absolutely,
Yes.
Absolutely. Great advice that you've given.
Sure.
Well, you all, we've had another great Every Life is a Story event. I had no idea when my friend Judith said, I want to connect you with this person. She's going to contact you. And I'm like, okay, well, this will be different because we don't usually do this. And it turned out to be one of the most woo woo shows we've had. So,
Aww.
yeah, it's been
That's great.
absolutely wonderful. Thank you so much,
You're
Kayisha.
welcome.
Yeah,
And I
I
like
love
how
your
our names is almost alike.
I know, I love it. I love your name. I was just getting ready to say, I love your name, Kayisha. I just love it.
Right. I was like,
So,
oh,
you all know what I'm going to say. It doesn't matter if it's a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. It doesn't matter if it's the first of the month, the last of the month. It doesn't matter if it's in the morning, if it's the end of the day. It doesn't matter. It just doesn't matter when. If you look at your life and you're like, this isn't what I want it to be, stop. Take a deep breath and remember it's your life, your story. You're the one who wrote it to begin with. You get to write it now.
right,
You write it. Doesn't matter what the people in the cheap seats, that's those other people out there who are telling you how to live it. Doesn't matter what they think. They don't get to write your story. Society doesn't get to. Programming doesn't get to. Expectations of other people don't get to. You get to. You get to write your life, your story. Write it your way. So stop, take a deep breath. What is it you really want? And start writing it your way. As long as you're breathing, keep living in great big capital letters. That's what we're here to support you to do. That's why we bring you stories like this. That's why we bring you the people who do all the modalities that they do. That's why we bring those people to you. That's why I'm here. And I love you all so much. See you all soon. Bye.
bye.